and welcome to another video, and this week's video is a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more casual. This is my fall 2019 update, my plans for the channel, what's going on. A little bit of context right now. Channel's really healthy. I've actually seen a subscriber increase while I was on vacation here. Two little things that kind of prolonged the vacation status of the channel. Number one, the SSD that I have in my computer, which I built a couple years ago, had some issues. I had to reformat everything, which means I lost some stuff. Not anything too important, but one of the major things that did happen is one of the pieces of software I used to edit video no longer works. So I've had to kind of relearn how to use a different software. And that's been kind of delaying things behind the scene. The other thing is simple, I was a little burned out. Not necessarily with videos, but with work-related stuff, and that kind of made me not want to come home and then work on video stuff, and that kind of prolonged things a little bit longer. With that being said, regular video content is going to resume on Friday, September 6th. Now, the one caveat to that is I will have a new video in between now and then that is going to be about GameStop and their recent even more firings and my thoughts on that. I had a little bit of an insider tip on what was going to happen there, and I was kind of waiting to see if it happened. Obviously, we know it happened, and that's what delayed that video just a little bit. But you guys will see that video pretty soon. I want to briefly address Horror Fest. As you guys know, I love doing Horror Fest every year. I love playing spooky games. I love the month of October. This year, I'm scaling it back just a little bit more in order to work with my work-life balance here. So I will be doing 4 streams, one each Friday in October, and those streams are all going to be horror-themed games. I'm going to kind of go between some. I'm not really planning on doing any full playthroughs. And then Thursday, October 31st, I'm going to end Horror Fest. Some of the game reviews I have planned for this fall, I don't have a lot planned for game reviews, but the few titles I've selected to review for the channel as of right now are Control, Death Stranding, cannot wait for Death Stranding, Jedi Fallen Order, and Doom Eternal. So for sure I will be reviewing those games for the channel, and there will be some other titles in between here that I'm still kind of making plans for and deciding if I want to cover them on the channel or not. Also, with that being said, film reviews are going to return. I've scaled those back a little bit. The 3 films this fall I plan to review are It Chapter 2, which is coming as literally right around the corner. Joker, can't wait to see what that movie is, if it's good, if it's bad. As you guys know, you can see a bunch of stuff behind me. I'm a huge Batman fan. I love Joaquin Phoenix to death. I think he's going to knock it out of the park in that movie, but I still just don't know what that movie is. And then finally, Rise of Skywalker. I'm also a big Star Wars fan. Didn't really care for Last Jedi, but a lot of the problems with Last Jedi may be fixed in Rise of Skywalker. We'll find out in December. As you guys know, earlier this year, I did a video on Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance, which is the 360 arcade title that was a multiplayer game, and I had a lot of fun doing it. That video in particular has been really successful, and I've had a lot of fun doing that. It was kind of like a test to see if people still cared about The Greatest Generation, which was my 360 show. So I'm announcing that I'm bringing that show back, but instead of focusing on just Xbox 360, I want to focus on great games in general, and I'm going to be calling it The Greatest Games. Look for that to debut sometime in the next month as well on the channel. 2 other big announcements. So I'm gonna eat a little hypocrisy here. I finally picked up a PlayStation Classic that I plan on modding, and I'm actually going to be using this thing during Horror Fest to play some of the PS1 era horror titles. I look forward to that. I can't wait to open this thing up. I also bought one of those 8-bit Do adapters, and I'm going to be using the DualShock 4 with this thing so I can play games that have analog controls. Can't wait to open this thing up and see what it entails. One of the last things I want to discuss here in this very, very brief update for the channel is that in my personal life, which I don't really talk about on the channel very often, one of the other things that delayed me coming back to making videos in the last month is my girlfriend and I actually adopted 3 cats. And that's taken up a little bit of time because some of them have some medical issues that we're kind of addressing right now. There are 3 of them. I'll throw up pictures here of them. There is Frankie, who's named after Frank Castle, the Punisher. My wonderful girlfriend named him. There is Shanoa, named after the Castlevania Order of Ecclesia character. I love Shanoa to death. She's just a wonderful, wonderful kitty. And then finally, and I'll briefly share his story, Alucard. Alucard is 16. and he never knew life outside of the shelter. He was dropped off when he was 2 months old, and he's lived in this shelter for, and I'm not going to get into any stories about the shelter that they came from or anything like that, but he lived there for 16 years, and it broke my heart that nobody's ever adopted this cat. So, and I assure you, you look at the picture, you see he's kind of got a grumpy cat look going on. He's actually the most affectionate of the 3 cats. He just has that look about him. So that's another reason why things have been a little bit delayed on the channel. So there's, 3 cats that we've kind of had to get used to the house and things like that. So anyways, guys, again, thank you for all your support on the channel. Again, I saw an uptick in, subscribers when I wasn't actively making videos. I did release one during the break, which was my Wolfenstein review. And then next I'll be returning really shortly with a review of Control. Hoping that's going to be my September 6th video, but we'll see. Anyways, as always, guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.